Hello, it's Sunday. I'm CJ. This week we're talking all about music, and I will say this is like a super hastily made video because this is my last weekend in London, and this is when all of the Christmas parties and all of the Christmas things are turning up to. So whoever is at the Christmas party that I'm going to last today, then I apologise because my non-drinking does not apply to this festive day, and I am like a jingling bell, let me tell you. Talking about music, and music, I will say, is the shit. And music is one of those things that has always saved my life. Probably always will. But weirdly, I kind of want to talk about what happens when your music taste changes. Once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, or Ireland, when I was a much younger queer than I am now, much younger, I think I thought I was probably going to be a musician. I've always sung in bands, I've always written songs, you know, there's always been that sort of element, and I used to gig a lot when I lived in Ireland, and that was in fact how I made all of my friends. My entire friendship circle, there was people who shared the same music tastes as me. The places that I hung out in were the places where the musicians that I knew or where live music was played. The reason that I would travel places would be to go see gigs. I'm really lucky in that in my time I've come across some amazing musicians who have been brilliant human beings, and I suppose crossed that line from sort of being like a demi-fan to being a friend. Like I'm like a tiny back of the shot. I don't know what you're called if you're one below an extra, but I was one below an extra in once, which is pretty cool. And yeah, like music was massively my thing. And I grew up with music tastes that were almost entirely dominated by my brother's taste in music. Because I have one older brother, he is nearly 11 years older than me, and my parents don't listen to any music that isn't, at the very least, classical, but typically more sort of in the Baroque, 1600s. Bach is big in their household kind of deal. So I grew up not knowing about music, and not knowing very much about music at all, and I think that was always one of those things where I felt left out quite a lot, because like the cool bands, I didn't know any of the cool bands. So the most important bands on earth to me when I was in my early teens was like U2, who saw me through a lot because music saves lives, and the Police and Oasis and all those sorts of boys in bars and whining straight boys with guitars kind of music. That really sort of propelled me through. I got interested in the Irish music scene, which is a lot more whiny boys talking about why did she leave me, why did she go, which still holds a very deep, important place in my heart, and kind of, I guess, straddles that line of like indie and singer-songwriter and rock. But an interesting thing that has happened to me more recently is that my taste in music has massively mutated. So I was always very much into the I'm sort of indie and sensitive genre of I have a feeling and let us sing about it. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, I got really into Triphop, which is the more musical, less lyrical side, I guess, of hip hop, but it also incorporates some kind of experimental sounds and beats and that kind of thing. And I guess for me that really like married together this love of classical music that I still have. You know, I'm a grade 8 classically trained oboist, which not many people are. And the sort of singer-songwriter, like pop music type thing, it kind of bridged that gap. Because it turns out that I don't like genres in music any more than I like genres in gender. I think it's really possible in music, as in many things, to kind of get stuck in a bit of a rut and just kind of go, I only listen to this and this is the only thing that's good. And, you know, if that's you and that, like, you know what you like and you don't want to venture out of it, then amazing. That's fantastic. I think I found myself in a place where that wasn't quite cutting it. And then I discovered Spotify, and then it was game over, because now I don't have a genre of music that I am more invested in than another, because I like all of the stuff. Spotify for me has been the best £5, because I have a student rate, has been the best £5 a month I've spent my entire life. I made a promise to myself that if I was going to pay money for something, then I was going to make the most of it, which meant if I spent £5 a month on new music, then I would need to listen to at least one new album a month, which seemed like fair game. And that has changed everything about how I interact with the world and how I feel, because I'll just put on playlists and I will learn things. So at the minute, I'll put a link down below. My favourite jamming out to this is what I'm listening to pretty much everywhere, is it's a playlist called Urban Poet. It's a lot more in the hip hop rap genre. There is some serious throwbacks to some killer old school stuff, but I think I listen to a lot of music now that I wouldn't recognise me if I walked past me 10 years ago, because I think I never would have listened to stuff like that. And some of it has been making myself aware of what's out there and like being exposed to it and going looking, and then I think also just going like, let's judge things on their own individual merits. So if I don't speak to you before, which I probably won't, all of my links and things are down there. There's a recap of the week that I've had on my personal channel, because lordy lord, and Merry Christmas. Thank you for making 2016 bearable. Happy New Year. We have almost made it through, and I will talk to you again soon. Okay, bye.